Welcome to A&A Products. We're going to do a simple project. We're going to make some colored swirls. These are pieces of glass with swirly colors in them that you can use for pendants or earrings or just about anything you'd want to use. We're going to use a dam package that we sell in the store to make the first cut at the glass, and then we're going to break the glass and refuse it again to make the swirls. So let's get started with this fun project. Here I have a setup for making 3 batches of colored swirls. What I've done is taken 4 pieces of 5x5 in various colors and cut them in half, and what I will then do is stack on top of that the other half, which means I end up with 8 pieces together, which gives me just slightly less than 3/4 of an inch. And so that would be one stack there. And by taking the second one here and putting it on top, we have the second stack. And again, the third stack. So now we have 3 stacks. And the object now is to fuse these to a full fuse in the kiln. The secret here is we've got 3/4 inch of glass, so we have to really give it a chance to warm up slowly and to a full fuse. So the next thing I'll do is put it in the kiln, and while it's cooking in the kiln, we'll give you the fusing schedule that I've used to fuse this glass to a full fuse. I wanted to take a minute and show you how I've set this up in the kiln. I've actually blocked the glass off with ceramic dams, pieces of ceramic. The reason I've done this is that we've got 3/4 inch almost thickness of glass. We're going to heat it very slowly to a full fuse. And if you remember, the glass wants to get to 1/4 inch, it would have a tendency to spread out and get thinner. And I want the glass to stay fairly thick. So I've blocked it with dams so that it can't get down to 1/4 inch and it can't run too far. And we're ready to turn it on and go to work. Let's talk about the firing schedule. We start off at a relatively slow ramp rate of 250 to 900 degrees. We're going to hold it there for 20 minutes. This is slow enough not to cause thermal shock to the glass. In the next step, we're still relatively slow, up to 1100, and here we're allowing the air to escape, hoping to have as few bubbles as possible. Then we go at 100, which is quite slow, to 1250, and we hold it for 45 minutes, and this long hold is to allow the glass to settle and squeeze out the very last of that air. Then we can go as fast as possible, which is 999 on my kiln, up to 1500 degrees, which is full fuse on my kiln, and hold it for 15 minutes, and this is where the dams are needed so the glass doesn't spread out and thin on us. Then we can go as fast as possible to 960, which is annealing temperature for bullseye glass, and we're going to hold it for a full 3 hours here to allow the glass to stabilize as much as possible. Then we begin a very slow descent at 50 to 750, and this is to allow the glass to begin to re-enter the solid state without thermal shock. A little faster at 100 down to 650 to finish the annealing process. Finally, we can move at 200 degrees per hour down to 100 degrees, and when we're at that place we should have a final solid piece of glass. Okay, I've taken the solid pieces out of the kiln and I've begun to break them up, and I thought maybe I should show you how we do that because we want to do that safely. The pieces are thick glass and you want to wear some goggles, and we'll also show you a technique to try and break them up safely. Okay, we talked about breaking the glass safely. Wear yourself a pair of safety glasses for sure. The other thing you want to do is we're going to put it inside, either take some newspaper and wrap it in, or in this case I'm going to put it inside a bag. Now if you were to take a flat piece of glass like this and simply to set it on the flat, it would be very difficult to break because the pressures on the bottom are equal and it's difficult to bake a piece that's that thick. So what I'm going to do, and you can take any kind of metal you've got, I'm going to take this this file, which is a half round file, and I'm going to stick it in the bag, and then I'm going to lay the piece of glass across the file, and that way it's not sitting flat on anything. And then I'm going to take a hammer, a regular old hammer, and hit the glass inside the bag. Now I've got some pieces. Let me do it again. I want to get some more. So far they're mostly small pieces. One more time. There we go. Now let's take them out. There's a piece. This piece is still fairly large. We can decide if we want to break it more or not. This is a fairly small piece. Set it over here. There are a few smaller pieces that are probably usable over here to make smaller things like maybe earrings, etc. And I've got the little pieces that I want. I'm going to put this piece in and do it one more time. See if we can get a couple smaller pieces off of it, at least one. And we did break it smaller. And we also have a couple small pieces off it. I think I want it one more time. And that one is hard to break. There we go. Okay. Now we got some pieces that are smaller that we can use. And we'll just take them out of the bag and set them over here. Be careful that you don't get your hands stuck with the pieces of glass. Take the file back out. Your newspaper, just roll up the newspaper and throw it away. In this case, I'll just shake the pieces down to the bottom of the paper bag and throw them away. And that's basically the safest way to break up the glass. And the next thing we'll do is we'll take those pieces, stack them in the kiln, and get ready to fire them. Alright, here's one last look at our pieces before we put them in the kiln. Let me make a couple comments. First off, sometimes you'll find a piece that still has a little kiln wash on it, or shelf or whatever. You want to throw those pieces out and not use those. They're hard to clean because they're so sharp edges, etc. The other thing is, I've decided not to throw my little pieces of glass out. Instead, I've taken some pieces from my dams package and made a little square. And what I'll do is pour the pieces inside the square here and make myself, save the pieces, mix them all up, and it'll make myself another piece. So we're ready to put them in the kiln. Okay, this is an idea what the pieces look like in the kiln. In some cases I have actually added a piece on top to give it a little more volume to it. The squares here have been filled with some of the cut glass pieces, and I've tried to distribute them to make sure that I don't have them close enough that they will actually run together. Now that may be no guarantee of that, but we'll find out. And so we're all ready to fire. We'll give you the firing schedule next. Temperature schedule here is pretty much similar to the last one. There's a couple lines left out and the speeds are a little bit faster. Reasons through each step are about the same, so study it carefully, and that should get you the final pieces which we're about to show you. Here we can see the myriad of colors that have come out. Some of the pieces were too close together and they fused together. Some of them making an interesting shape. The piece that we put inside the square turned out nicely. Nice colored piece just by throwing glass in there and using those dams to build it up. And so this is a good way to make glass for pendants, make some glass for earrings, or use it however you'd like to use it.